Hello friends, today we are going to discuss maintenance management, block 2, maintenance resource management, unit 6, information technology enable maintenance management. I, Manoj Kumar Rout, assistant professor operation management, is presenting the topics information technology enable maintenance management. So let's understand the different objective of today's sessions. The first one is to understand the benefit of using information technologies or IT application for maintenance management. Point number two, to explain the basic principle of application of information technology and of maintenance management. Point number three, to elaborate on the input, the maintenance processes, and the output features for maintenance management softwares. So we have to learn about the known as fundamental overview of different maintenance management software. The next is to help decide on the selection of suitable maintenance management softwares. And the last we have to help in stepwise implementation of computerized maintenance management softwares. So these are the objective of today's sessions. Moving to next one. The next one we have introductions. So in case of introduction, as you know, in case of information technology, health, in case to reduce the various amount of activities, especially reference to maintenance management. The first benefit we have reduce of that is known as documentations. The next important part is preserve large amount of data, which is help in case of that is known as historical analysis as well as future course of action for maintenance related activities. So let's understand the that is known as overview of your maintenance management. So maintenance management and engineering function has to position it to achieve the corporate objectives. Then what is the corporate objective? To maximize more amount of profits, to maximize more amount of the known as productivities, getting higher side of qualities. So for getting higher side of productivities, high qualities, high efficiencies, the corporation must require information technologies. And in the same manner or same pattern, they also require that is known as your information technologies to help the maintenance management. So the next important part is the strategy in general, the operational strategy in a particular ways. So in case of this maintenance process needs to interface with different functions within the organizations as well as the external part of the organizations. So let's take a small example of how the information system through the implementation of artificial intelligence will help to preserve large amount of data, especially reference to maintenance management. So if you observe, we have three levels of that is known as AI is implemented. The first one is large amount of data should be preserved in case of clouds. The next layer we have the technology servers, and the last one we have devices. So these devices can monitor different that is known as condition of machines and equipments. It also that is known as monitoring the people who are basically engaged with large number of machines. So whenever it will observe any kind of difficulties, immediately that data is directly sent to the servers and server is directly access to the cloud. So whenever the maintenance management is go for interference of various amount of maintenance related activities, by reading this entire data from the cloud, you can easily understand whether they go for corrective maintenance plan, whether they go for preventive maintenance work. So moving to next one. So information generations. The next important part is processing, and the use are the major requirement for the maintenance functions to efficiently manage its resources. So whenever you think about the side of maintenance management, in that cases, the first important part is you have to generate large amount of informations in the form of data, and that data are basically processes. And the last one is use are the major requirement for the maintenance function so that you can efficiently manage all kind of resources, for example, machines and equipments. Moving to next one, many of the earlier maintenance systems suffer from crude and conventional method of data processing and information exchange. So due to clear visibilities of your CCTV installations, then large amount of installation of cameras or sensors, And some devices, for example, large amount of thermal proximity sensors are installed so that they can easily generate large amount of data, and that data is goes to the server. Whenever they go for diagnosis or investigating any maintenance equipments, throw the data which is already goes to the cloud. From that cloud, you have download the data and go for your future course of action, especially refers to efficiently manage the maintenance activities. So moving to next one. So here the that is known as before implementing the information enable maintenance system. First, we have to understand who are the within organizations and what are the that is known as outside the organizations. So starting from the customers, shareholders, society, and suppliers, these are the that is known as external customers, and they are also providing various that is known as types of data, which is essential for your maintenance related work. And if you are in case of internal customers or internal part of the organizations, we have finance departments, we have production and operation department, human resource department, and we require the recognized maintenance department, and maintenance department will seek the support from the technical services. So whenever you implement the maintenance process, it need to interface with different functions. For example, production functions or operation function is conversion of input into output. Finance is basically provide the supports. Quality is basically increase the product qualities. Personal means involvement of work, and technical service means you have to provide the various amount of spare parts, tools, all the things to maintain the process of your maintenance systems. So these are the overviews of organizations. That means we have to focus upon within the that is known as internal customer as well as externally. We have focus on external customers. Moving to next one. If you go to the information technologies, so this is a new buzzwords for use of electronics communications, convergence technologies that had made tremendous difference to our way of function all walk of lives. So these are also helpful in case of that is known as implementation or enables the maintenance management system in a particular organizations. So that is why technology like e-business, e-commerce, or ERP software, or that is known as enterprise resource planning or ERPs. Or the next one is we have customer relationship management, which is shortly known as CRMs, has become common that is on parlance in management service. So let's understand a small example of ERP system, how they will help in case of implementation of information technology in a particular organizations. So whenever you that is known as introduce the ERP package or ERP systems in your existing organizations, that means you require large amount of data belong to finance departments. They are also providing large amount of data from the human resource departments. They are also enable in case of logistic management. The next one we have maintenance management. The next one we have sales and distributions. The next one we have quality management. They are also conducting or enable material management, especially reference to purchase department. And they are also provide the data related to the manufacturing and production department. Suppose company want to implement various type of strategies under the banner of strategy and operational plannings, whether the companies go for short-term plannings, long-term plannings, or intermediate range plannings. In that case, the ERP software will provide the that is known as number of outputs solutions, especially refers to different departments and sub-departments. So through this use of information technologies, as I told, it is e-business, e-commerce, ERPs, customer relationship management. These are basically adopted quite lately for the maintenance functions. So here we are not talking about all the department. We will only focus upon how the ERP is enabled in case of maintenance management department. So previously, what happens? Other department will take the help of ERP softwares. But nowadays, many of the organizations, especially if it's to integrated organizations, are vastly enable the ERP package in the core area of maintenance management. So that they can achieve the that is known as use and achieve the most excellent in case of maintenance as well as engineering functions. So these are the overview of you that is known as information technology enable in case for your maintenance management. Moving to next one. So let's understand what are the benefits we have. The first benefits, that is reduction of downtime cost. So as you know, maintenance, the most important objective of maintenance is reduce the cost. So first cost, that is reduce in case of downtime cost. The second cost, that is known as reduction in case of maintenance cost. The third one is reduction in material cost. Then moving to next one, the fourth one we have reduction in life cycle cost of machineries. Then increase availability of plant and equipments. The next reduction in the breakdowns, increase and extend the use of life of plant and equipments, improve diagnosis of machine problems, better utilization of maintenance resources like man, machine and materials. The next we have ability of history of machines to enable decision making. For example, you have previously used the machine since last 10 years. So the company or the authority want to replace. In that cases, the middle level of management will take the decisions whether they go for replacement or go for repair works. Then ensure efficiency and that is efficacies of reporting systems. So as far as concerned with the organized structure of the companies or maintenance departments, they'll better provide higher side of the known as efficient of reporting systems so that the information should be clearly visible from the bottom to top levels. Then better interface amongst the maintenance and other functions like operations, materials, quality, and the last important part is safety. And if it goes to the most important aspect of your IT enabled maintenance, reduce the paperwork. Unnecessary paperwork should be reduced. So these are the key benefits which enable the IT in the core area of maintenance management. So I just repeat, reduction the cost in case of downtimes, maintenance and materials, the reduction life cycle cost of machineries, increase availability of plant and equipment so that the production department go for smooth flow of raw material or smooth flow of conversion system of large enough amount of input resources into output resources. That also decrease the percentage of breakdown because due to IT enables, through the artificial intelligence, through the ERPs, and through the installation of large number of sensor equipment, it should be easily visualized. The next one is increase and extend the use life of plant and equipments. So whenever you go for preventive maintenance, it improves the diagnosis of machine problems. So these are the key benefits of your IT enabled maintenance. Moving to next one. The next one is conceptual model of maintenance functions. So under conceptual model of maintenance functions, there are certain amount of that is known as parameters should be observed. The first parameter we have that is known as maintenance objectives. So what is the maintenance objectives? Whenever demand get by the production departments, they have to provide the service. That is the most important objective of maintenance. So if you go to the point one, the objective of maintenance have to be aligned to the operation objective, which in turns is connected to the corporate objectives. So in general sense, it would be the ensure optimum availability of maintenance department whenever the equipment is demanded by the production plant. So they are interrelated with that is known as maintenance objective interrelated with operation objectives and operation objective is interrelated with the corporate objectives. So if one department will face the difficulties, simultaneously the operation department as well as the top level of management or top level of the business organization also suffers. So it is the duty of maintenance management department. So frequently investigate the machines, provide corrective maintenance, day-to-day maintenance, monthly maintenance, or maybe they take the quarterly maintenance program so that whenever the equipment demanded by the production plan, they will provide and fix the problems. So this is planned to be achieved at the lowest maintenance cost without compromising on the long-term effect of the life of the equipment. So second most important point of your maintenance objective is to reduce the cost in every aspect. So we have already discussed in the last slide that reduce the downtime cost. The next is the material cost. The life cycle of equipment cost is also reduced. So in that cases, they never compromising on long-term effort of the life of the equipment. So if it required, they can go for replace, or if required, they go for repair. These are the key objective of your maintenance. Moving to next one. Under the conceptual model of maintenance functions, we have the next functions that is known as types of maintenance activities. So if you observe, the type of maintenance activities are classified into five parts. The first one is emergency or that is known as corrective or breakdown maintenance, plan correctives, preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, and other related functions like utility operations, workshop management, and the last one is modifications. So these are the key activities of your types of maintenance activities, which is under the conceptual model of maintenance function. Moving to next ones. So let's understand the maintenance functions. The first one is it is if you observe this left side figures, so we have three important parameters are there: input parameters, maintenance parameters, and the last one we have that is known as outputs. So whenever you develop a conceptual model for your maintenance functions, three important pillars they have. First one is inputs. So under input we have manpowers, we have material in the form of spare parts, we have machines times, we have tools, and we have large amount of information related to main machine and materials. The next, the inputs are directly fed towards the maintenance. That means under the maintenance, they will focus upon these four categories. That means breakdown maintenance, predictive, preventive maintenance, condition-based maintenance, then plan correctives. These four are most important aspect of your maintenance. And what are the outputs? So output is reliabilities in case of machines, equipment, spare parts. The next one is we have that is known as maintainabilities. And the last third one we have that is known as availabilities. And here the output is higher amount of safety should be observed. And the most important part is long life of equipment life cycle is also observed. So these are the conceptual model for maintenance function. So how these activities are basically performed inside the organizations. If you observe the right side figures, so we have input resources. So input resources goes to the planning activities, and after the planning activities, they will perform the various amount of maintenance process. So after maintenance process, they will go for organizing activities. For example, what kind of organizing activities? So we have breakdown maintenance, we have preventive maintenance, we have condition-based monitorings, we have maintenance correctiveness. So these are the key activities. So if you observe from maintenance process to organizing activities, so maintenance monitoring should be done. And if you observe, they have given two number of recognized planning activities. So under planning activities, we have maintenance schedules are there, and we have control activity. That means those who basically assign the maintenance department, they will provide the various amount of that is known as feedbacks. So if it is not solved in that cases, again they go for planning activities followed by maintenance process. The next one is organizing activities, and finally they will reach to the outcomes. So these are the core conceptual model for the maintenance functions. Moving to next one. So the third parameter we have that is known as execution of maintenance functions. So we have already discussed the fundamental overview of schematic of maintenance functions, how they have plan, then maintenance process, then organizing activities. So whenever they go for maintenance activities, they are basically follow the execution cycles, which is begin from the need for the maintenance activities, and it should be goes through the first one is sequence of work request. So suppose in our organizations there are number of departments are there, and production departments is required a breakdown maintenance. So they will directly send the sequence of work request to the maintenance department. Then the second one, we have the authorizations. So maintenance manager will take the authorization from the top level of management. Then after they go for planning activities, followed by scheduling activities. So after scheduling, they will assign various amount of manpower so that they can easily fix the problem which is arise by production departments. So after handover the equipments or machines to the production department, they will collect feedback information from respective departments. So moving to next one, so these data in the form of feedbacks are go for analyzing and reporting to the higher authorities. So in case of reporting step, further lead to review the need of maintenance activities, thus to complete the cycle. So after number of reviews should be done by the top level of management. Then after the maintenance activity cycle is complete. So I repeat, whenever they go for execution of maintenance functions, they must follow this uh, seven number of steps. The first step we have sequence of work request. The second one is authorizations. The third one is plannings. The fourth one is schedulings. The fifth one we have executions. The sixth one we have feedback information, and the last one we have analysis and reportings. Moving to next one. So the next one we have, before implementing the conceptual model, we have to understand the factor different types of maintenance activities. So as I told, so we have emergency corrective maintenance. So we have plan corrective maintenance. We have preventive maintenance. We have predictive maintenance, and we have other type of maintenance. And if it goes to the factor, first one is need, then requisite agencies, authorizations, planning, schedulings, executions, feedback, and report. So in case of need, for example, if it goes to emergency breakdown, or emergency corrective maintenance, we have breakdowns and we have other loss of critical function. And it is requesting agency is production departments. Similarly, who provide the authorizations as per the standard procedures of the companies. The top level should be provide the authorizations. Similarly, if you go for plannings, you have to focus upon the work orders of that respective department. Then in case of schedulings, if it is very critical, high priorities, and go for opportunity window so that you can easily fix within the period of that is known as fraction of hours. The executions that is done by the maintenance personnel. Similarly, if it goes to the feedback, so they will go for write down the downtimes and resources utilized and regional failures. And during the reporting, they must go for the history of that particular machines or equipments, then must go for the downtimes, then must observe the failures, and the cost of replacement and repair should be theirs. Then which kind of equipments and who are the maintenance personnel or manpower should be used, and what is the material efficiency and backlog should be maintained in the report, so that it should be goes to the middle level of management to the top level of management, so that they can easily review for further analysis, and after that the maintenance activity cycle should be complete. Similarly, if you go for that is known as predictive maintenance, in case of need, monitoring the machine conditions, and need is diagnosis. In case of requesting agency, we will go for maintenance plannings. The second one we have feedback from other type of maintenance, and authorization generally not required in case of predictive maintenance because it is predefined. Then in case of planning, we have to make the checklist and computerized routes plan for the maintenance related activities. In case of schedulings, it is online or based on the calendar times, running hour should be included. Then in case of execution, we have to focus upon maintenance as well as the operation personnel who are directly assigned to the number of machines for maintenance related activities. And in case of feedback, you have to go for collection of resources utilized, the requirement of predictive maintenance or corrective maintenance. And similarly, just like your emergency corrective maintenance plan, you have to go for history of that predictive maintenance, then report about the downtimes, report about the failures, cost, equipments, manpower, and material efficiency and backlog should be mentioned in the report. And that report is directly sent to top level of management for reviews. So then after the number of time reviews, if it is satisfied, in that cases, the maintenance execution cycle is complete. So this is the entire factor how there are different type of activities are basically applied inside the organizations to overcome the barrier of that is known as maintenance related work to provide higher efficiency productions and which match the corporate objective as well as the operational objectives. Moving to next one. The next one is maintenance database. So for all kind of that is known as maintenance, as I told that feedback information consists of large number of data, and these data should be used for that is known as past as well as current as well as future course of actions, for especially reference to maintenance related work to the machines as well as equipments. So in order to enable the information technology processing to help the maintenance functions, input data has to be collected and entered in the master database. So in this section, we will discuss the different type of master database that are required to be maintained. The first one we have equipment masters, then we have corrective maintenance masters, The next we have preventive maintenance masters. The fourth one we have predictive maintenance master, and the last one we have spare parts and material masters. So let's understand how the database is basically maintained. So if you observe this particular block diagram starting from the client, so client means the internal departments and the control area, for example, boilers or any kind of machines. So they directly access to the company codes and company code to the maintenance plant. So maintenance plant is go for the locations and they have implementing the planning plant. And planning plant has two aspects, plant section and planner groups. And finally they go to the work centers. So if you observe in case of maintenance plant, the planning, the plant sections, the planner group, the work centers, in every that is known as nodes, you have large number of data are there. So for example, in maintenance plant, they'll go for planning plant, and plant section they have identified 5 to 6 number of machines have vibrations. So they immediately inform the planner group and goes to the work center so that they can easily rectify the and fix it the machines for the smooth formation of production activities. So, so here we are basically focused upon the components in whenever you enable the information technologies, especially reference to maintenance functions, you have to collect various amount of input data. So from the client to controller areas, input data is required. From controlling area to company code, input data required. Similarly, plant, maintenance plant and locations also share the input data. And the next one is planning plant is also share the data with the maintenance plant. Moving to next one, the planning plant also moving to the plant sections. These are the basic planning plant is the input to the plant sections and planner group. Similarly, work center will also provide the input to the plant section and the planner group. So every data should be maintained in the maintenance database. So whenever you go for the different master database, especially applies to equipment master, predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, that is corrective maintenance or spare parts or material masters. In that cases, only the true and that is known as fake data should be there, so that whenever you go for analysis of any machines or in the diagnosis of any machines or equipments, so there should not be any kind of error should be generated from the data. Moving to next ones. So first we have to understand one by one equipment masters. This is the first one. So this includes the static information about the equipments in the plant, which includes equipment codes, equipment descriptions, manufacturers and supplier details, purchase data, warranty insurance information, the master drawings of that is my equipment, and major specifications and details and specification of sub assembly and details of spare parts should be there. So if you go for equipments, starting from the equipment codes, so why code is needed? For example, in a large scale industries, variety of machines are there, and this variety of machines have variety of sub assembles are there. So for segregation of different equipment, they basically use the different codes to identify. That means that machine belong to production department, and this Y machine belong to the different quality departments. So these are the most that is known as important that is known as description, which include in case of equipment masters. The next we have corrective maintenance master. This master database maintain the information regarding the standard corrective maintenance activities to be performed on the equipments. So for example, corrective maintenance activities are balancing a fan rotor, so replacement of pump implement, relining a cement kiln refractory walls. So these are known as corrective maintenance masters. So this information regarding the standard corrective maintenance activities to be performed on the equipment, that data should be included in case of corrective maintenance master. For example, maintenance or corrective maintenance of a ceiling fan. So in that cases, they must go for that is known as fan rotor replacement, or they go for that is repairing of fan motors. So these are under corrective maintenance masters. Moving to next one. The next one we have preventive maintenance masters. So preventive maintenance activities are separately maintained in the preventive maintenance master database. Some examples are regular lubrications of gearboxes or that is known as engines, or maybe that is known as hydraulics motors or hydraulics pumps. The next is scheduled replacement of consumables like bearings, V-belts, oil seals, overhaul of gearboxes or engines. So these data are basically included in case of preventive maintenance master. Moving to next one, the fourth one we have predictive maintenance master. So here that is known as the maintenance master database would contain the information regarding predictive maintenance activities. For example, vibrations, spectrum of oil contamination levels, temperatures in various apparatus or equipments, pressure in case of pressure vessels, and they are also using monitoring parameters. So predictive maintenance are basically the database which contain large amount of predictive activities related to different equipment. For example, you are using the rotary kiln in case of that is known as sponge productions. So here you have to go for predictive maintenance of bearing temperatures. And similarly, if you go for boiler and turbines, the bearing temperature should be noted. The fan temperature should be noted. So these are under master. These data should be goes to the predictive maintenance master. Moving to next one. The last one we have spare parts and material masters. So this the information regarding the maintenance material is normally maintained in this master database. So the type of information that would be maintained are item code, item descriptions, specification, cost of spare parts, lead times, vendor or supply details, order quantities, and the classifications. So why classification needed? For example, if you go for spare part classification, some spare parts are high value items and some spare parts are low value items, some are moderate value items. So if you not classified according to their values, according to their use, according to their priorities, it is very difficult to go for build up the spare parts masters. So the database also keep this information regarding the other type of maintenance like tools, subassembles, and rotating spare. So these are the example of your spare parts and material masters. Moving to next one. The next one we have that is known as planning and scheduling systems. So the planning and scheduling system basically focus upon the various that is known as maintenance plannings. The first maintenance planning we have preventive maintenance planning and scheduling. Second one we have corrective maintenance planning and scheduling. The third one we have predictive maintenance. And we will discuss one by one. If you go to the next one, so these are three type of predictive maintenance planning and scheduling. The first one is the preventive maintenance activities might have already been identified through the master database. And the plan for activities would need to be scheduled based on the long-term or short-term availability of various resources like machine time availabilities for maintenance, then availability of manpower, availability of materials, availability of tools and other utilities. So let's take examples of preventive maintenance steps. The first one is define the goal and the priorities. So second one we have list asset and tasks. The third one we have manage priority and resources. The fourth one we have defined performance indicators. And the last one we have go for review and improve. So whenever you go for implementation of preventive maintenance plan inside your organization, these 5 steps must be followed so that you have to focus upon long-term and short-term availability of various resources. So what are the resources we have already discussed, like your machine time availabilities. The next one is manpower, materials, tools, and other utilities. The second planning and scheduling system we have that is known as corrective maintenance planning and scheduling. So under corrective maintenance, it is normally classified into two parts that is known as planned corrective maintenance and emergency unplanned corrective maintenance, which is known as breakdown maintenance. So planning and scheduling of planned corrective maintenance is similar to preventive maintenance, with only difference is being that it has no fixed repeating frequencies. And the last one we have that is known as predictive maintenance. So this is the process of acquisition of machinery's health information through the periodic monitoring of machine characteristics. So nowadays, through the IT-enabled maintenance system, many company has implemented condition-based monitoring by the introduction of number of softwares. And whenever you use the condition-based monitorings, they are basically provide large scale of data in case of monitoring of machines and their characteristics. So that before the machines, the gearbox, the engines will wear and tear, they'll directly provide the that is known as information to the server to the data cloud, and from the data cloud, the company personnel, especially reference to maintenance personnel, will go for diagnosis of the machines. If possible, they immediately replace the machines so that there is no interruption will be happen to the production department. Moving to next one, some of these characteristics are, for example, that is known as vibrations, temperatures, pressure, thickness, oil conditions in gearboxes. So there are many specialized instruments for purpose of predictive maintenance. For example, for temperature, thermal sensors are used. In vibrations, sensors are used. For checking the thickness, you have to use various amount of pH meters. For pressures, pneumatics devices are there to reading the pressures. And in case of thicknesses of the oils, oil or oil conditions is basically done. So these are basically done through the number of recognized IT enabled tools or various amount of sensor. Some company are also using CCTVs so that they can easily observe and they will inform to the next levels of management so that they'll easily provide the predictive maintenance whether they go for replacement activities or repairing activities. Moving to next one. The next one is computerized maintenance system software. So in case of computerized maintenance management system software, so which is shortly known as CMMS models. So in this particular models, it is vastly famous in case of industry 3.0, industry 4.0, or in the upcoming industrial area, that is industry 5.0. So what is the benefit of if a company is introduce these kind of software? We learn, and first we have to learn the different CMMS models. So C stand for computerized, where digital solution used in the smartphones or computers, and M stand for maintenance, by used by the maintenance professional across the several industries. Again, M stand for management, so they are basically optimize the manufacturing activities, and A stand the combination of different modules in one solution. So by combining the computerized maintenance system or software, so they will provide large amount of recognized of functions in the core area of maintenance management. So the first functions of this CMMS software is asset management. The next one is work order management, which is basically arise from a department to the maintenance management department. Then maintenance management department go for predictive maintenance plan. So before implementing the preventive maintenance plan, they go for stock management. The next one we have that is known as audits, and the last one is performance indicators and reports. So these are the main function of this computerized maintenance management system software. So why this is important part? For example, it provides the digital solutions to reduce the part of paperwork, unnecessary paperwork. The next important part is healthy condition of various equipment and machines. The third and most important part is provide higher set of safeties. The fourth important part is it provide large amount of communication or establish better communication among all the level of managements. And the most important part is the life cycle of equipment, tools, and machinery is automatically increased whenever you introduce this computer maintenance management system software. Moving to next one. The next one is the main component of your computerized maintenance management softwares. The first one is we have already discussed, that means preventive maintenance. The next one we have work order management. The next component we have asset inventory and maintenance histories. The fourth one we have checklist and safety tips. The last one we have reports. So whenever you go for the fundamental concept of computerized maintenance management system software, you have to focus upon these six number of component, which includes preventive maintenance, work order management, asset inventories, maintenance histories, checklist and safety tips, and the last one is reports and breakdowns. So how they have enabled this software? Let's take an example of your CMMS modules. So for example, the workshop printer is needed by different departments. So we have mechanical instrumentation department, we have electrical department, and we have generalized departments. So this workshop printer is connected to the different number of that is known as file servers, and these file servers are directly connected to number of workstation and terminals. So through this server, they can catch and they can observe large amount of data by assigning number of proximity sensors, thermal sensors, pressure instruments, as well as the next one is installation of various cameras. So whatever data they have captured, they directly go to the file servers. And when the authority want to go for printings, in that cases, the printer is enabled in different departments so that they will ready for providing the corrective maintenance as well as breakdown maintenance to resolve the problem and error which is arised by the different machine and equipments. So this is a simple example of your CMMS models. Let's understand what are the major benefits of this CMMS models. That means computerized maintenance management system softwares. The first one is lower the cost. So whenever you introduce the softwares in your existing organizations, in that cases, day by day, they will directly or indirectly reduce the cost in every aspect. Maybe the downtime cost, material cost, cost of equipment repairing, documentation cost, administrative overhead cost. There is a greater possibility of automations. So it also provide large amount of opportunities for automations. So in case of automation, that means large amount of flexibility should be observed. And so if you go for flexible manufacturing systems, in that cases, automation will help to increase the efficiency of machines, increase the quality of product, quality of outputs. The next one is smarter integration of system. As I give the examples how they have connected number of terminal or workstations with a single server, so that the mechanical department, instrument departments, electrical department, other departments will go for integration and they can easily observe the workshop printer. The next is increase op times. So availability time will be increased in case of machines and as well as equipments. And it also help to optimize the inventory level so that the cost would be optimized. The next is consolidated tribal knowledge. So these are the basic benefits of your computerized maintenance management system softwares. Moving to next one. The next one we have that is known as examples of that is known as computerized maintenance management softwares. They basically provide large amount of informations. For example, machine informations and preventive maintenance models, then prerequisites and operation of the preventive maintenance software models, the corrective maintenance and work product models, prerequisite and operation of the that is known as corrective maintenance software models. The next one we have spare parts control models, and the last one we have condition monitoring models. So these are the different modules which is available under computerized maintenance management system softwares. So let's take a small example of a hospital facilities, how they have basically access the maintenance related that is known as data structures, which is used and applied under your computerized maintenance management system. So we have hospital facilities, we have departments, we have equipment type, and we have device models. So all the things are basically connected to the asset. So who provide that is known as asset? Most of the patients are the asset, and here the patient will provide the work order. That means work under the work order they will go for that is known as labor, parts, expenses, and that is known as preventive maintenance checklist. So, for example, in the hospitals, they have difficulties in case of device models, or in case of device model, or in case of any equipment. So, the work order is directly access to the maintenance department. So, after receiving the work order, they will implement various amount of the resources, which is applicable to fix the problems inside the hospitals. So under the availability, they will focus upon availability of labor, availability of spare parts. Then they will must go for the cost estimations, and finally they go for preventive maintenance. So let's discuss regarding the module of that is CMS. So we have six number of models. The first model we have machinery informations and preventive maintenance models. So under these models, enable queries and printing static equipment informations. So whatever that is equipment information regarding the dimensions, specification, the manufacturer's details, the vendor details, then the equipment's assembles details, sub-assemble details are basically under this particular module. Then preventive maintenance work order scheduled by the calendar or the master use and print of the preventive maintenance work orders. The third one is scheduling of multi-craft for performing the preventive maintenance. And the fourth one we have scheduling the preventive maintenance based on the prior completion of the preventive maintenance. The next one is request of maintenance planning. And the last one we have preventive maintenance results. So whenever you go for balance preventive maintenance workload over the scheduling periods, and finally the forward planning to the informed production functions in what in case of preventive maintenance requires equipment shutdowns. So whenever you go for the first important part, so it basically printing the static equipments. So those equipments are in the that is known as starting conditions. In that cases, they will generate the work order and printing of the preventive maintenance work orders. Generate work order schedulings and printing of preventive maintenance work orders. Then go for scheduling of multi-craft for performing the preventive maintenance. What is multi-craft? That means they will go for what is known as resource arrangement, when machines, material, and preventive maintenance checklist. Then next is they basically focus upon schedulings preventing based on the prior completion of PM request. So, for example, production departments have given the request, so they will provide the maintenance plans, and finally they will implement the predictive maintenance schedules. So, moving to next one, balance the preventive maintenance workload over the scheduling period. Suppose you have 4 to 5 number of maintenance personnels are there, so you have to make a balance between the load versus the schedule periods. And finally, forward planning to the production functions. So that means forward the entire planning of maintenance, especially reference to preventive maintenance, to the production departments in advance in case of the preventive maintenance required for the equipment shutdown. So without taking the prior approval for the production department, you cannot implement this in machinery information and preventive maintenance models. The second one, we have prerequisites and the operation of that is preventive maintenance software models. So in the initial step, it compiles the list of equipments to be covered under the computerized system. So before go for the preventive maintenance, you have to provide the list of equipments and collect the both basic data as well as the preventive maintenance requirements. So what are the data basically required? For example, which departments, which place, which machines, what is the history of that machines, the next who operate the machines, the next is what is the time required for the downtimes, the next is what is the repair time should be required by the maintenance personnel, who take the requisitions, who provide the authorization. That entire data should be given to the complex systems under the banner of that is known as prerequisite and operation PM software modules. So this information would be available from the manufacturing manuals for operations and maintenance, which may be needed suitable modification based upon the operating conditions of the plant personnel. So most of the cases, they directly refer to the manufacturing manuals for operations. So every manufacturer have their standard operating procedures for different kind of machines. And most of the cases, operation and maintenance departments keep these manuals for future course of action. If required, they must go for modifications of the operating experience based upon the plant personnels. Last one, that is known as based on the estimations made about the downtime, labor time required for completion of identified preventive maintenance activities and material availabilities. The computer program schedule the preventive maintenance activities normally every week and print out the corresponding work orders. So in this regard, they basically implement the requisite of and operation of the preventive maintenance software models. The third one, we have corrective maintenance and work order models. So under this particular model, there are certain amount of features are there. The first one is track labor and material utilizations and their cost thereof. So whenever you go for corrective maintenance, track the labors, what are the different maintenance workers which available, and the material like your spare parts tool utilization and their cost should be noted. Then assign different craft for different works. So depending upon their skills, you have to assign different worker to different work. Then identify the work order separately for equipment under warranties. So if your equipment is under warranties, carefully identify, and these are directly listed in the checklist. The tracked contracted out maintenance separately. So if you go for identify the contracted out maintenance, in that cases you have to mention separately. Facilitate the use of special tool and materials. So special tools and material will help the maintenance personnel to easily fix any kind of machine and equipments. So nowadays many manufacturers go for special kind of tools. So these tools help reduce the times of maintenance, and it is very easy to use to fix any kind of problem related to breakdown or any kind of maintenance. Then enable obtaining the special permit like safety electrical lockout. So before implementing the corrective maintenance, you have to secure the place and take the permission from the electrical department to lock out the electricity. Then enable scheduling based on various logics like priority of equipments, priority of job, material availabilities, and availability of your craftsmanship or workers. And the last one is permit input of information related to emergency maintenance, which are not scheduled after they are produced. So you must take the permissions, information related to the emergency maintenance, which is not scheduled. So it is due to the duty of maintenance department, they can inform other departments. Without taking their permit, they should not run the machines. And what the different reports should be generated under these models? The first one is active and pending work order reports, history of equipments, downtime of equipments, cost of corrective maintenance. These four category of reports are basically generated under the corrective maintenance and work order models. Moving to next one. The next one is we have prerequisite operations of CM software models. So this one, the fourth one. So under the CM model, basically operates through the central point of declaration of work order numbers. The second we have, there should be a unique and specific maintenance work order number for each corrective maintenance work. Use a priority rating system, help in the scheduling the corrective maintenance system and systematic manners. Before corrective maintenance work order is authorized and planned, the priority rating may be accessed and for guidance, either manually or for computerized logics. So whenever you go for publishing the priority rating guidelines, just like your relative importance of maintenance expenditure, which is shortly known as RIME, or the NUREC, that means need, urgency, customer ratings, and equipment critical and illy systems, which uses various criteria and methodologies to arrive at the priority of a particular corrective maintenance work. So what are the different that is known as reports should be generated under this particular models? The first one is maintenance history reports. The second one is maintenance cost reports. The third one is work order backlog reports. The fourth one is material consumption report, and the last one is time reports will be generated. So these are the 5 different reports generated under this particular models. Moving to next one. The next one is spare parts and control models. So under this particular models, first you have to understand the spare parts management system flow. So it will start from that is known as technicians, then technician to spare parts workers, and the last is it will start from that is known as create a spare parts request. The request goes to the next levels. That means record the spare parts given away details in the SPS systems. If it is available, they will provide. Then stop the process. It is not available, again it should be directly stopped. So whenever the technician is request the spare parts, they directly go to the stores. If the store personnel is provided, so inside the store they have number of spare parts workers are there. If it is available in the stores, they'll go for yes and record the spare parts given away details in the SPS system of the stores. And finally it stop. If it is not available, in that cases it directly stop. So in this module is very similar to material management modules, which help in classifying the maintenance material, purchase, inward goods inspection, issue and receipt. It also tracks the consumptions and control inventories. Some of the features of the spare parts control module are given. First one is predictable materials are included in the work order and their need communicated to stores. So whatever predictive material you are request in that case must request to communicate the store. Then matching the parts required to availability automatically. Then automatic recording based on the inventory control and purchase logics. So it is the duty of maintenance department as well as the store departments. They are automatically recording of inventory control and purchase logic. Then accumulation of material cost in the history of equipments. And the next one we have linkage or linking of equipment data for the spare parts data. And the last one is performing report on the consumption, inventory, stockouts. So these are the key that is known as features of the computerized spare parts models. I repeat, the first one is predictable material, the next is matching the parts, the next is automatic recordings, then accumulations of material cost, linking of equipment data to the spare parts data, then performance reporting on consumptions, inventory and stockouts. So these things should be observed under the spare parts control modules. Moving to next one. The next one we have condition monitoring models. So in modern days, computerized software for maintenance have a condition monitoring model which is receive equipment performance characteristics. So what are the characteristics we have? First one is vibration signals, temperatures, pressures, lubrication oil conditions directly from the sensor mounted on the critical equipment. So let's take a small example of condition monitoring technology for a fan motors. So fan motor have lubricating oil problems, pressures, performance monitoring, thermographies, motor current, vibrations, online parameters are there. So in that cases, it is mounted with a sensor or different kind of sensor which provide this large scale of data starting from the mechanical vibrations, pressure, performance monitor by assigning number of sensor, thermography by thermal sensors, lubricating oil conditions by the standard indicators, then motor current by number of devices. So these data are directly sent through the condition monitoring by installation of critical equipments or sensor are directly mounted over the critical equipment. So if you are far away from the distance of the organizations through the condition monitoring, you can easily go for the equipment performance by assigning of number of sensor mounted on that particular equipment. So this helps to implement various amount of predictive maintenance. And the next important part is large amount of this life of equipment as well as the long life cycle of equipment should be preserved for further applications inside the organizations. That also help in case of reducing the accidents as well as waste reduction in case of condition monitoring. So this information would be suitable standard and various corrective action like issue of alarm, tripping of equipments, carrying out diagnostics to suggest preventive as well as corrective maintenance that can be performed by the softwares. So condition monitorings are basically used by Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0. It is applicable to any range of industries that will start from the small scale industries to medium scale industry to large scale industries. Moving to next one. The next one we have software selections. So first we have to understand the feature of ready-made software or you can use alternative softwares. So the software may be relatively lower cost, less preparatory time to be required. For example, installations, then commissions, then run the softwares. Can get the latest technology softwares, integrated system like ERP should be introduced, and sometimes may not meet all requirement of the plant. So depending upon the requirement of plant, you have to choose the software, whether you go for highly cost software or low cost software. So difficulty in case of maintenance and upgradations. So software need large amount of technical skills. That is why many industries are simply rejected. But nowadays, due to adoption of IT-enabled softwares, especially reference to income management, maintenance management, it will help a lot to the industry for getting higher side of competitive advantage over the number of competitors. So let's understand the what are the different merit or demerits of internally developed softwares. The first one is flexibility in developing the software can be designed to exactly suit the internal requirements, greater acceptabilities, long development time and special skill requirement, higher cost of development and maintenance. So depending upon the type of features and their merit and demerit, you have to choose the software for your maintenance management. Moving to next ones, the factor need for selection of software. That means easy of use, easy of implementations, system supports, hardware and software system requirements. The next one is documentations. So software may help in case of that is known as minus tool tips and the user compatible and with operation of the softwares. So software that preferably have build features, they have number of build feature which is most important feature is it is very compatible for operations or compatible in case of providing that is large amount of features. Then easy of implementations, it depends upon the sophistication of software. That means easy of installation, easy of testings, easy of commissioning of softwares, so that there should not be any kind of technical glitch will be happen from the software providers. The next we have system supports. The software should be supported with the technicals and the system support for provision of upgrade or that is known as fixing the errors, integration of both hardware and software within the factory network system like internet or intranet. Then next important factor we have hardware and software requirement system. That means the speed, the memories, the hard disk capacities, the applicable drive systems are to be understood before the selection of softwares. So if you use Windows 7 in various amount of CMMS softwares, it is not compatible. Rather than go for that is known as Windows 10 softwares. And the last important part is extent of documentation provided vendor is to be critical analyze. This is important for the continuous development problem for encounters. Thank you.